Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Amelinda Ismawan. I'm a student of State Islamic University from the Faculty of Teaching and Education from the Department of English Education. And on this video, I will do a review of a popular textbook, or to be more specific, a self-help book that is, in my opinion, is highly recommended to read. Okay, so the title of this book is How to Raise Your Self-Esteem, which is written by Nathaniel Branden in the 1st of October in 1988. So basically, this book has many good reviews on the internet, and I even found one unique expression from one of the readers from this book. It is said that this book is like a map by which you will find your coordination. And I personally understand what she meant, because that's also how I feel when I read this book. And furthermore, I also totally agree with what other people saying on the internet about how great this book was, because that's how it is. However, let's take a look on my personal opinion. As I said before, this book was written by Nathaniel Branden in 1988, and to talk a little bit about the author of this book, came from Canada. So basically, he was a Canadian, an American psychotherapist, and also a writer. And he was known for his work in the psychology of self-esteem, so that's why he got called as a pioneer in self-esteem development. In 1988, Bantam, the publisher, has published the paperback of this book, and it has counted as one of the bestsellers book in the category of self-help book and also the self-esteem books. It also popular not only to guide us about how we feel about ourselves, but also to show us how to respond to several things happen in our everyday life. Okay, so before we go further to review about the content of this book, I will start my review with the features of this book. This originally paperback has 176 pages, and it has been published by Bantam Publisher, as I said before, and it also contains of 11 chapters with an addressing of various aspects of the importance of self-esteem and also how to live with high consciousness of self-esteem. Each chapters open with an explanation of the title and also followed by the story with a short brief illustration on how the importance of self-concepts, how self-concepts are affecting our feelings and behavior. Now let's take a look at the first chapter. In the chapter 1, it has a title with the importance of self-esteem. In this chapter, it is talk about how important healthy self-esteem are. It is said that healthy self-esteem is the foundation on how we could have the ability to respond actively and positively towards the opportunities in life. For example, in work, in love, and in play. It is also the foundation, healthy self-esteem, of to get our serenity to make the possibility of living enjoyment. Okay, next move to the second chapter. In this chapter 2, we have self-concept as destiny as the title. In this chapter, it helps us understand that who and what we think we are influenced on how we act. It helps us appreciate the power of self-concept, to learn, to trust, and to love ourselves more. Okay, now we move to the third chapter. The third chapter have the title Living Consciously. And here I have my favorite quotes from this book on this chapter. It is said that if I don't see it or acknowledge it, it doesn't exist. And living consciously means that we live responsibly towards reality. and move to the fourth chapter with the title Self-Acceptance. Here I also have my favorite quotes. It is said that right now, that's me, and I don't deny the fact, I accept it, and that's the respect for reality. Now we move to the chapter 5 with the title The Liberation from Guilt. And in this chapter, it taught us how to learn and forgive ourselves more. Because when we could understand and forgive ourselves, then our behavior tend to improve. And now we move a little bit further to the chapter 6 with the title of Integrating the Younger Self. In this chapter, it is said that we need to forgive the younger version of ourselves. Because when we could try to forgive the child we once were for what he or she did in the past, for what he or she didn't do, or couldn't cope with in the past, then the adult self is no longer have an adversarial relationship with the child self. And that's on how our behavior intend to improve and grow. Now we're at the chapter 7 with the title Living Responsibly. The responsible here is not as the main recipient of moral blame or guilt, but as the chief and the causal agent of our life and our behavior. And that's an important point. Next to the chapter 8, we have Living Authentically. The main goal of this chapter is to induce a behavioral change and also an increase of self-esteem to support the change. Okay, now we're moving to the chapter 9 with the title Nurturing the Self-Esteem of Others. In this chapter, it is said that if we wish to nurture the self-esteem of others, we need to relate to that person from our vision for his or her worth and value, and to provide an example, an experience of acceptance and respect. And we're moving to the chapter 10. The chapter 10 has the title The Question of Selfishness. In this chapter, it is said that individualism and enlightened self-interest is best possible to provide the basis for social cooperation, benevolence, and progress. And finally, we come to the last chapter. It is the chapter 11 with the title Summary, the Impact of Self-Esteem. So basically, this chapter is the conclusion of all chapters included in this book, from the first to the 10th. And it is said in here that self-esteem is not determined by world success, physical appearance, popularity, or any other value. Rather, it is a function of our rationality, honesty, and integrity of all volitional processes and all operation of mind in which we are responsible. So overall, after I did my review on this book for each chapter before, I think that this book is really good, and especially to help us to be more confident to ourselves. And I want to recommend this book to people out there who had to deal with insecurities and defeat the thinking of being not good enough as a human being. Moreover, the author of this book uses a very simple word, so I think that it is not that hard, especially for beginner to understand. And the author also include his passion story from his therapy, since he was a psychotherapist. And I think it helps me a lot to get the comprehension of this book. And overall, I think this book is really good and very recommended to read. And I think that's the end of my video. Thank you so much for your participation, and see you on the next video. Bye bye.